For years, the truth stayed hidden, the victims forgotten, the cases left cold, until science revealed what time could not. This is Decades in the Dark, where cold cases are brought back to light. December 21st, 1992, just 4 days before Christmas. In Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 25-year-old elementary school teacher Christy Mirack woke up early like she always did. Christy wasn't just any teacher. She was beloved. Colleagues said she was one of the first to arrive each morning and one of the last to leave. She decorated her classroom with care, spent her own money on supplies, and made sure every child felt welcome. Her students adored her. Parents later said she had a way of making every child feel smart, capable, and special. She laughed with them, encouraged them, and brought energy into every lesson. That year, Christy had carefully chosen individual Christmas gifts for each of her third graders. Books, cookies, little surprises, wrapped with love, stacked neatly by her front door. She was preparing to head to school for the class holiday party, but Christy never made it to class. When she didn't arrive, her principal grew concerned. Christy was always punctual, always reliable. By mid-morning, he drove to her home to check on her. When he stepped inside, he was confronted with a scene of horror. Christy had been brutally attacked and murdered inside her own home. Police rushed to the scene. The attack was savage, frenzied, and it left behind one crucial clue: DNA. But in 1992, DNA testing was primitive. Without a suspect to compare against, it couldn't name a killer. For years, investigators chased leads. Hundreds of men were questioned, samples collected, none matched. Christy's case turned cold. Still, the community never forgot her. Her students grew up remembering the teacher who vanished before Christmas. At her funeral, many of those children placed flowers and cards, too young to fully understand, but old enough to know they had lost someone who made them feel special. One student told a local reporter, "She always smiled at us. She made us feel smart." That Monday morning, investigators believe Christy was preparing to leave for school when her killer struck. She may have opened her front door to step outside, or because she thought she heard a knock. The attacker forced his way in. Christy was slammed to the floor. She fought hard. Defensive wounds showed she clawed and resisted. But the force was overwhelming. Her jaw was broken, her ribs fractured. The assault escalated quickly. She was strangled with such violence that investigators said it revealed not just control, but rage. The ordeal lasted only minutes, then silence. By the door, her stack of Christmas presents for her students remained untouched. The image would haunt investigators. Gifts waiting to be delivered, their giver stolen away. By the 2000s, DNA technology had improved. Christy's evidence was tested again and again. The profile was strong, but it matched no one in any national database. Then came a new tool: genealogy. In 2018, investigators submitted the preserved DNA to genealogical databases. The results pointed towards someone in the Lancaster community, someone no one suspected. The trail led to Raymond Rowe, better known as DJ Freez. Rowe had lived in Lancaster for years. He wasn't Christy's neighbor. He wasn't in her circle of friends, and investigators found no evidence the two had ever met. But he wasn't a stranger to the community. Far from it. Rowe was one of Lancaster's most popular DJs, performing at weddings, nightclubs, parties, and even school events. While Christy's family and students grieved, Rowe was out in public, entertaining crowds, spinning music at dances, proms, and charity events. Trusted around children, celebrated in the very community where he had once taken a life. The most chilling realization came later. Rowe didn't live near Christy. He had no reason to be at her house that morning unless he intended to be there. Detectives concluded this wasn't random. He had chosen Christy. He had likely studied her routine, knowing when she left for school, when she would be alone. The violence was so extreme that investigators described it as deeply personal, even though the two had no relationship. After Rowe's arrest, police revisited other unsolved cases in Lancaster and beyond. Was this his only attack? Had he hurt others? His DNA was compared against other open cases. No direct matches were ever found. But prosecutors said the brutality of Christy's murder suggested he was capable of more. They admitted they could never rule out the possibility that Rowe had committed other crimes, ones that went undetected or unsolved. Police put Rowe under surveillance. At one event, he discarded a water bottle. Investigators retrieved it and tested it against the crime scene DNA. It was a perfect match. After 26 years, Christy Mirack's killer had finally been identified. In 2018, Rowe was arrested. The community was stunned. For decades, he had been hiding in plain sight. In court, Rowe pled guilty to Christy's murder to avoid the death penalty. He offered no explanation, no motive. Why he targeted her that morning remains unknown. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Christy's family, the relief of justice was bittersweet. Her parents had passed away before learning the truth. Her brothers and surviving relatives spoke of the pain of losing her and the years spent waiting. Her former students, now grown, remembered the teacher who wrapped presents for them with love and never came back after Christmas break. For 26 years, a killer walked free, celebrated as a DJ, trusted at schools, hiding in plain sight. But DNA never forgets, and neither did those who loved Christy Mirack. This is Decades in the Dark, where science brings the past to light. Subscribe for more stories where justice never expires.